So people have been asking me for stock market predictions as a mind reader. I don't do that very often, but I do predict that Otis Elevator and ThyssenKrupp will go up for about half the year. And I'm pretty sure that International Paper and the McKay Envelope Company will remain stationary. Hey everybody, it's Mike Duesberg from Magic Means Business. Last week we were spending a lot of time talking about crowds and why they're important to cocktail parties and networking events. And this week I want to give you 5 ways that you can make sure you get a crowd at your event. Unfortunately, I don't have time for that, so I'm only going to give you 3. If you want all 5, you got to like, you got to subscribe, you got to ring the little bell, you got to send me a message at mike@magicmeansbusiness.com, and we'll send you the paper edition of the Reading Mike's Mind newsletter. So, 5 ways to make sure you have a crowd at your event. Probably one of the most important things is having a place where the crowd can gather, sort of a dedicated spot. Now, normally we do that with a stage, right? And people would stand around the stage, but during a cocktail party we don't have a stage. So if you notice in a lot of the pictures that I show, there's a black pad in front of me, right? Now that keeps my stuff dry when people spill their drinks, but it also says, look, this is where the show is happening, this is where the performer is performing at, and then people can kind of gather around it. So it's really important that you have tables. At some of the events I'm at, we've got great big 8-top, 10-top table that people can form around. We can get 30, 40 people crammed around one of those tables, believe it or not, sometimes even more. Or, right here in the office, I always have a great big high top table. This one's about 36 inches across. It's fantastic because it says this is where the show's happening. People can crowd around the table, and you can see sometimes it's a big crowd, sometimes not quite that many, but even a high top is enough to form a crowd. If we don't have some kind of table surface that I can gather people around, it's a lot harder to get those big crowds to form. We can do it, but we have to do a lot of things that are more what I would call is sort of street magic oriented, and they're not as elegant for your event. The second thing that it makes sense to manage is the sound. That means managing the echoes from people's voices inside of the room, as well as the music, whether that's a live band or a DJ. People can really only form into a crowd if they can still hear me when I'm talking 10, 12, 15 feet away. Now, I speak with a projected voice when I'm in that situation. I don't yell because that would be inelegant, but I speak loudly so people can hear me. It's also important when it comes to forming a crowd. So a lot of times I'll be performing at an 8-top. I've got 8 people here when I first start the event. I get them laughing with each other, and the people at the table on my left and my right all of a sudden are craning their necks going, hey, what's going on over there? And if they can hear what I'm saying, right? They know that there's a magic show going on. They know that people are having fun. And they can also hear me say, hey, why don't you come on over? Why don't you come on over? And suddenly we take a table of 8, we turn it into a group of 24, and now we really got something big going that we can turn into an even bigger crowd later. But if the people at the other tables can't hear what I'm doing because they're too far away, because the sound is too loud, there's no way to make that grow, and it really does keep down your results. You don't get the experience that you're trying to create because it's very easy for people to isolate at their table because they can't hear what's happening at the tables near them. And I'm glad you stuck around for the third thing because I think this is most interesting. It's creating a sense of anticipation. A lot of times before an event, my clients will send out a little video that I create that talks a little bit about who I am and shows them what the magic looks like and creates some anticipation so people are kind of excited. It's absolutely amazing. I was at the Medina Country Club, I think 3 years ago. I was entertaining, and all of a sudden people stood up, walked over, and I had about 70 guys on the front porch of the country club laughing and screaming and participating in the magic. And because they had all said, yeah, we saw the video, we knew this would be great, we wanted to see them perform. And so now it was real easy for them to know that, one, I was there in a professional capacity. Second, I'm really good at what I do and I'm a little on the famous side. And 3, it would be worth watching, and it's okay to jump in and walk across the room to be part of it. These anticipation videos have been solid gold, and if you're working on an event and you can distribute them, I highly recommend it. So I told you there were 5 keys to growing crowds at your event. I've given you 3 really big ones. The last 2 are some serious secret sauce that I'm keeping just for my clients. Now, if you'd like to get our newsletter, Reading Mike's Mind, all you have to do is go to magicmeansbusiness.com/contact and send us your mailing address and your name, and I'll be happy to forward those other 2 keys along. If you're looking for more engagement, you're looking for more participation, which ultimately are the building blocks for accomplishing the larger goals for your event, now would be a a great time to send us that information. Of course, if anything in any of these videos ever makes you think maybe we ought to have a conversation, you can always call me at 561-596-3877 or set an appointment, again, at magicmeansbusiness.com/contact. Look forward to speaking to you next week. You know what? If I get 100 subscribers on YouTube, I'll shoot one of these videos from Hawaii. I'm willing to make that sacrifice.